and so does our favorite show, Bluey. And in today's video, we're going to uncover some of them. But before we begin, like the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. Now, without any delay, let's dive right into the video. As we all know, nothing in Bluey is by chance. Every tiny detail in the episodes has a meaning. Just like in the mini Bluey episode, we notice something really interesting. Chili needs to return some books, and on the bag sitting on a bench, we can see the image of an animal. And if you look closely, you'll notice it's the image of a leopard, which is the same animal Bingo disguises herself as in the Onesies episode. It's another direct reference between the two Bluey episodes. Snickers is one of Bluey's classmates and friends. They've known each other since they were babies. But there's something that catches the eye about Snickers: his cap. It's yellow with green, which are Australia's national colours and are present in the country's symbol plant, the acacia panther. If there's one thing Bluey animators are proud of, it's the fact that Bluey and everything in her universe is set in Australia. Even Snickers' cap, which we just talked about, is an example, as we can see the map of Australia on it. For this reason, several references to Australia appear in many episodes. The Australian flag also appears sometimes. For example, the towel stripe uses in the Christmas swim episode is a perfect replica of the Australian flag. And did you know there's a connection between the fairy episode and the mini Bluey episode? Right at the beginning of the mini Bluey episode, when Bandit is making snacks for the girls, we see Bingo reading a book. The scene goes by quickly, but if you pause at the right moment, you'll notice she's not just reading any book, but one about fairies. You can see the character on the cover is a canine version of a fairy with yellow wings. So, this episode makes a direct reference to the fairy episode from the first season. To this day, the long dog toy, which along with the tennis ball are the two biggest Bluey Easter eggs, hasn't appeared in just one episode. Well, it appears, but in a completely different way that many people might not have noticed. In the phones episode, when Grandpa Mort visits the healers, it appears divided into 3 different parts, drawn on paper sheets on a small clothesline in the healer's living room right behind Grandpa Mort. So, for those who were expecting to find the dog as a toy, this time it was a bit different. The previous secret was definitely not the weirdest appearance of the Easter egg, because it even appeared as if it were food. This happened in the Pavlova episode, when Bluey opens the fridge. If you look quickly to the side of Bluey, you'll notice that in the container where the beans are kept, there's something very different. The Easter egg is right there, green like a bean too. Bluey animators are really becoming experts in hiding this Easter egg, but what's interesting is that before the long dog appeared as if it were one of the beans, it had already appeared in the episode. It's one of the fridge magnets stuck on the door, just below the letters B and A, and appears several times throughout the episode since they use the fridge a lot. I think this dog was placed so that the fans would think they had already found the long dog in this episode and wouldn't notice that it was also inside the fridge. Now let's talk about a secret that practically nobody knows. As we know, before the Sign episode, Brandy was struggling with infertility, as we can notice from Brandy not being able to have babies and Chili herself losing a baby before the couple could conceive Bluey. Interestingly, this is a fact-based factor since the red healers variation, which are slightly different from blue healers like Bandit, actually have difficulty in having puppies. This was a real characteristic that the show's script adapted to its story context. We all know that Bluey is an independent show, but has a partnership with Disney. But did Disney realize that there's a reference to one of Cartoon Network's most famous shows, one of its biggest competitors, in Bluey? Again, in the mini Bluey episode, we see the room is full of scattered toys, and on top of a stack of books, we see a plush of a penguin wearing a crown and holding a kind of magic wand. This is a clear reference to the character Gunter from Adventure Time, who at a certain point in the show ends up taking possession of the Ice King's crown. Ludo Studios have a lot of courage to do this right under Disney's nose, don't you think? In the episode Granny Mobile, we see the girls having a lot of fun pretending once again to be elderly, only this time with the company of a somewhat grumpy elderly woman, Muffin. But the secret of this episode lies with the person in the background, Bandit. We see that the girl's father is looking at an item that practically doesn't exist anymore, an ashtray. And that by itself is quite strange, since this is an item used only by smokers. In other words, Is Bandit a heavy smoker? We don't know this information. In the Christmas swim episode, when the healers are gathered at Stripe's house, we see a very interesting detail in the barbecue area. When Bluey is bringing her gift to the living room, she passes through this area where the family will have their meal, and almost no one notices. But in the background, there's a painting with the image of a dog that we can see is a bit older. Probably that should be a painting of Trixie's father, Stripe's wife. In other words, it must be Muffin and Sock's grandfather, Stripe's father-in-law, a beautiful tribute to the family. And it's not just Stripe's father-in-law who has his paintings scattered around the house. For the Keene, it's possible to see a photo frame with a picture of Muffin and some ballet performance. Now we can understand why Muffin is so obsessed with ballet, as it becomes very clear in the episode where all the cousins are at Grandma Nana's house playing charades. This little dog really loves to dance ballet. Speaking of the charades episode, did you know that the first time we saw Uncle Radley in the series was in this episode? If you look closely, you'll notice that behind Grandma Nana, there's a huge photo with all the family members, including Grandpa Bob, and at one end of the photo is exactly Bandit and Stripe's older brother, Radley. This episode was number 11 of the second season. The double babysitter episode, where Radley appears for the first time, is number 39, also from the second season. So, for those who were paying attention, they already expected this new character to appear. Another cool detail that only eagle-eyed viewers like us can notice was another photo, but this time in the healer's house. In the chest episode, if you look carefully at the wall behind Bingo, you'll notice there's a photo of Bingo herself with a cake in front of her. This episode is the 10th of the third season, but the photo we see was taken on Bingo's birthday, which happened in episode 44 of the second season. And from the photo, it seems like the duck-shaped cake Bandit made didn't get much use at Bingo's party. Speaking of the duck cake episode, we noticed a really cool homage from Bluey's series to one of Disney's most famous animated movie franchises. When Bingo goes to see the cake, Bandit managed to make it after a lot of effort. We can see near the family table a wheel toy. And if you look closely, you'll realize it's very similar to Lightning McQueen, the protagonist of the Cars franchise. Except that we can see some modifications on the toy to make it look a bit more canine-like. For example, the addition of a small tail and 2 ears. But the red color and the windshield-shaped eyes are identical to those of the Cars from Disney's movie. This was definitely a beautiful tribute to Lightning McQueen fans. Just like I said earlier, like everyone else, Bluey also has some secrets. And it's really fun to find and uncover these hidden secrets. And these were some of the secrets we managed to uncover. Have you noticed any other secrets of Bluey that you would like to share with us? If yes, then let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. And as always, we'll see you all in